Today Sinead is going to show us how to perform cereal dilutions on a raw milk sample. So the first thing to do is to get organised. Here you'll see that Sinead has organised her dilution solutions and her agar plates in front of her on the bench, and she has her Bunsen burner ready to perform the dilution series. The first thing Sinead does is she performs a 1 in 10 dilution, transferring 1 ml of raw milk sample into 9 ml of sterile diluent. Notice how she removes the lid of the universal with the same hand that's holding the pipette. And before putting the lid of the universal back on, she flames the universal in the Bunsen burner. Now, having sucked up 1 ml of raw milk in the pipette, she's going to transfer that 1 ml to 9 ml of sterile diluent, thus performing a 1 in 10 dilution. Again, notice that every time she takes off or replaces the lid of the universal, she flames the universal to ensure sterility. Before continuing the dilution series, Sinead mixes the sample very well by a gentle shaking. The next step is to transfer the dilution onto the empty agar plates and the spread plate. Here you see Sinead removing 1 ml of the 1 in 10 dilution for the pour plates, and then she removes 1/10 of a ml to transfer onto the spread plate. Now, using the same pipette, Sinead collects 1 ml of the 1 in 10 dilution and transfers it to a sterile diluent, generating a 1 in 100 dilution. Notice as well that after she's performed the dilution, she removes the pipette and places it in the collecting vessel for pipettes, and then gets a fresh pipette to transfer the dilution onto the agar plates. It's also worth noticing here that when she transfers the sample onto the agar plate, the lid of the agar plate is only lifted for a very brief period of time. This is to ensure that the plates don't become contaminated with microorganisms that are present in the air. Now Sinead performs the 1 in 1,000 dilution by transferring 1 ml of the 1 in 100 dilution to 9 ml of sterile diluent. And once again, the 1 in 1,000 dilution is then transferred onto the pour plates by transferring 1 ml of the dilution onto the empty agar plates. And this process continues until all of the dilutions have been performed and all of the samples have been plated onto the agar plates. In this example, we're only going down to 1 in 1,000, but of course you could go further than that. The next step is to pour the molten agar into the pour plates. Again, notice that she flames the universal before she pours the agar onto the agar plate. Just before she was ready to pour the molten agar, Sinead removed the molten agar from water baths, which are held at 48 degrees to ensure that the agar remains in a liquid form. Also notice how she swirls the plate very gently to mix the diluted sample with the agar. This ensures that any microorganisms present in the diluted sample will be spread evenly across the agar plate. At room temperature, the agar takes about 5 to 10 minutes before it solidifies. And the final step then is to plate out the 0.1 ml samples on the spread plates. First, Sinead dips the metal spreader in ethanol and then passes the spreader through the Bunsen flame to ignite the ethanol. Once the ethanol has burned off, the spreader is ready to spread the sample on the agar plate. And that's all there is to performing cereal dilutions.